Stewart in Georgia. A suspect apprehended there. Officials just confirming moments ago that it is 28-year-old Sergeant Cornelius Radford, someone who had not previously been deployed into combat, who has been interviewed by Army investigators after opening fire on some of his co-workers. We understand that several soldiers who were nearby apprehended him and helped to respond to the shooting. Officials saying that their actions prevented further bloodshed. And fortunately, we're getting very good news about the suspected, or rather the victims, his targets.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 5 victims here. His co-workers, we have learned. 3 of the 5 of them requiring surgery, but all 5 of them in stable condition. We learned from the general there, the commanding general of the base, expected to recover, expected to survive. So that is certainly good news. Let's go to Natasha Bertrand, who is at the Pentagon. Natasha, talk to us a little bit about what you're hearing in the very latest here.
Yeah, Brianna, so we're still waiting for the suspect's full service record from the U.S. Army. As we heard from that press conference, he had not previously deployed in combat. He was a member of this 2nd Armored Brigade combat team at Fort Stewart, but that's pretty much the extent that we know about him at this point. Officially, other than that, he is, I should say, a sergeant, around 28 years old, who was serving there. But one of the things I think that was most notable as well about that press conference was when they started talking about the weapon that he used. He apparently used a personal handgun, not a military-issued weapon, which is notable because, of course, troops are not supposed to have personal weapons on base. And so one of the big questions here, and something that the commander also pointed out during the press conference, is just how he was able to get this personal handgun on his person and essentially at his place of work, surrounded by his co-workers. This was not connected to any kind of training event, according to the commander, and this was strictly a personal handgun that he was able to essentially conceal and carry with him. Now, it's worth noting that on a military base, it is not permitted to have these kinds of personal weapons. You sign weapons into an armory, you sign them out if you need them for training. The only people really carrying around these kinds of weapons are military police. And so, the question now is, will base security be tightened? Are there going to be additional checks to make sure that people aren't able to carry these kinds of weapons on base? Because it's worth noting as well that if you have an access card, which people do when they go in and out of a base every day, the military police aren't necessarily checking every single vehicle as they come in and out. And so a lot of questions remain about just how this individual was able to get this weapon so close to his colleagues, who we should know were how to actually tackle him to subdue him until law enforcement arrived. Brianna Barnes.
Natasha, thank you so much. We have with us retired General Tyson